Hey, what's up, guys? I am making another video about the games that I really loved in the year 2020. And sorry about the first video getting cut. I think it got cut off at the end. My wife called me, and then I just wasn't able to go back. I had paused the video to try to restart it. But I was talking about Resident Evil 1 and how it was the first time I ever beat it. And I liked it, but it's not my favorite Resident Evil game I've ever played. Definitely, I'm going to go with what everybody else tends to gravitate towards. Definitely 2 and 4. But moving on to this video, I ended up playing some of the Zombie Army games right around Halloween of 2020, and I have a really great background with this developer called Rebellion. If you're not familiar with Rebellion is a company that really found a lot of success with the Sniper Elite series. They've made 4 Sniper Elite games, and they have I think basically a developed engine that all of these spin-off games run off of the Sniper Elite kind of thing that the framework engine that they've made. So when you play Zombie Army, you're gonna recognize that, oh, this is a lot like Sniper Elite. So if you ever played any of the Sniper Elite games, you like the ideas of a spin-off, then Zombie Army is this has always been my guilty pleasure game. Just like going back to it, just running through a level. It's such a monotonous idea of a game where you literally start off at like a safe spot, you run through a mission area, you just try to survive and not let the zombies kill you, and then you get to the next safe house. That's all you do, and you run through the levels. It's not it's not going to be winning Game of the Year awards, but it is put together really well. It's fun. And the Zombie Army trilogy is actually, when I heard this was going to be released and it wasn't going to be released on PlayStation 3 and 360, this was the game that made me want to get a PlayStation 4. I think it was coming out for Xbox One, I think, as well. But I was just like, this ended up being, I think, the first or second game I got for a PlayStation 4. I think I bought it even before I owned a PlayStation 4. I think that and Bloodborne. But it works really well. It incorporates the ability to it's a third person shooter where you can aim down the sights and shoot like a weapon without being scoped, and then you also can use the scope. And that's one of the things that was kind of a problem for the Sniper Elite series, was that they just constantly made you try to use your scope, like sniper, to go far distances. But because this is a series where zombies will get closer to you, they started developing that idea that you could start taking shots at a closer range, take shots at long range. But I've had this for years, but then I went ahead and bought this fall, and then I played through. Since it's called a trilogy, there's 3 campaigns, and I just played through, I think, the first campaign. The first campaign is the one that I find to be the most iconic to me. I remember when it first came out, it was just only on Steam, and I bought some of those episodes on Steam, and really, I don't really play computer games all that much, but I liked this series so much that I wanted to make sure. At the time, I had my laptop was capable of running this pretty well, but I'm not going to hold my breath all these years later, because I think this came out in 2015, I believe. But then the other one, Zombie Army 4, which is also showing that they're having some success with this series as well. They released the 4th one this spring, and it was okay. It's definitely not the best one. The reason why I found it to be a lot different than the other ones is it starts to be really sci-fi, over the top, campy. It's not humorous at all, but they try to incorporate like far-fetched things onto the guns that you have, and it ends up being like way more unrealistic. And that's not really, I'm not real wild about that. I would rather play a game that's more realistic in this vein of like a zombie game. That's why oh man, what are they called? The Dead Rising games have always been frustrating to me because they've always gone the route of being like campy versus being more serious. And sorry, I just got a text message and I just lost my train of thought. But what was I saying? Zombie Army games, just really great. I can't recommend them enough. And I think if I was to play them again next year, they definitely would be really high up on my list as far as recommending and just really enjoy talking about. The other two games that I have here for this video that I'm going to do is talk about something that I'm really happy with myself that I finally sat down and beat this game. It only took me 30 years. So the story with Super Mario World is I can remember pretty well the moment that I got a Super Nintendo. My mom and dad bought us a Super Nintendo. I think it was either like a gift for like my brother doing well in school, or it was either at the end of a school year. But it came packaged with Super Mario World, and we didn't really have very many games growing up. I wasn't raised very well to do. I think we might have only had in total maybe 4 Super Nintendo games in the entire time that we had that system, and just never felt like we were in the money to just constantly ask for more stuff. We were just happy with what we had. But Super Mario World was a game that I never was able to beat growing up as a kid, as a teenager. I never stuck with it, and I got far in it. I remember seeing a friend of mine who sadly passed away when we were teenagers, but I saw him get really far in it, and actually I think I remember seeing him beat the game with the Bowser part. And but all these years gone by, I've never really went back to it. And then my little girl, who's she's 2.5 now, we were trying to find ways to get her to continue to try to take naps. And so like my idea was to sit her down and have her sit on my lap while I just played some games. And I'm not going to play Zombie Army and let my little 2-year-old watch that. So I was thinking, like, what better than to introduce her to Mario? And I think Super Mario World is one of the best Marios. Just because that is what I have a good history of, me personally. I was born in the 80s, and my parents didn't buy me an NES. But one of the first things that we were able to have was a Super Nintendo, and I had to work a paperboy job. I delivered papers to try to make money to buy my own Nintendo 64. But Super Mario World was great then, and it still is great now. I just love the fact that now that I can say I beat this game, and I beat it with my little girl sitting there watching me every step of the way. And then when we were done, we were like, well, she's liking this. Every time I'd come home, she'd ask me to play. She would call it Ario. And then I decided to play Donkey Kong with her. She didn't. I don't think she found this to be as enjoyable to watch. She really liked this, but I think I kind of forced her to sit there and watch for Donkey Kong. But I really enjoyed Donkey Kong, but you can definitely tell that the way it was put together was just extremely hard. It just shows to you how much more patience we had 25 years ago. I forget if this came out in 93, 94, or 95. I think it probably was 94. I think they basically came out every year for the next 3 years. So it's probably 94, 95, 96, I think. Maybe 95, 96, 97. I don't know. But anyway, I'm glad that I was able to beat this, and I will admit that I beat these on my Super Nintendo Classic. I just have them here as representation of me beating them. I don't think I would ever sell these just because of the nostalgia of them. I don't think they'll ever be worth all that much either, just because they were so common. But on my Super Nintendo Classic, I will admit that the only reason why I was able to beat this is because of the save states. I think I probably could have beat this without save states, but it definitely helps to accumulate the lives. Like, you don't lose lives if you just use your save states. So if you consistently keep dying from the same spot, you can just go back to the place that you last saved in the level, and it makes it 10 times easier to beat. Don't get me wrong, this was still hard, but I actually think I have always liked Donkey Kong Country 2 better. That was one that I still never have beat, so that might be one that I try to beat in 2021. I really have just tried to tell myself the last 2 years I need to get through the games that I and many other people will agree that those are fantastic games, that are amazing games, but then at the end of the sentence, at the end of the paragraph, I'll say, "Oh yeah, I never beat it." That to me is a shame, and that's something that I need to work on is getting through. Like this past year, I tried working on Chrono Trigger, and I think I put about 10 to 12 hours into it and still didn't beat it. So that